So on Reddit, there are tons of forums for people who have experienced narcissistic abuse. Okay. I would encourage you to look into it because it's really good to see that you're not alone. And it's really good to see that there are people who, forgive the color, fucking it's laundry day. But it's good to see that people, fucking glare, understand and resonate with what you've gone through. So I frequent those forums because it gives me a bit of support and it helps me in my journey of being no contact and basically not having family anymore, to tell you the truth. And one of the main questions that I see that's often repeated on these forums is, how do I explain to people, you know, fucks on my face. How do I explain to people, why I'm no contact or why I don't, go to my family's, home for the holidays or blah blah blah. That's one of the main questions people ask, right? And I always answer, don't say shit. Don't say anything. There's nothing to explain. The only people we explain to are people who are part of the process and the progress. We don't explain shit to nobody else, okay? Or excuse me, anybody else. You don't owe anybody an explanation for saving your life. If you're in the fucking jungle and a tiger is chasing you, and you hop a wall and escape it, you don't have to sit there and explain why you ran away from the tiger or you tried to evade it or you hopped the wall or you locked yourself in a building to flee it. Everybody understands in that moment that you were doing something to preserve your life, right? So when we leave the narcissist and we go no contact, we are trying to preserve our lives. You don't have to explain shit. And that's one of the main things that people feel trepidation about when they're considering going no contact. They're like, well, what will people think? What will people say? How does that look? Everybody talks to their parents. Everybody talks to their grandparents. Everybody talks to their significant other of a long time. Everybody does all this, right? I'm going to be the odd man or the odd woman out. I'm going to be put in an unenviable position of being a social minority in that I will not be speaking to my parents or someone of some other supposed significant status in my life as our culture teaches us. I'm going to look like a weirdo. Here's the thing. As I said, if they're not a part of the process and the progress, they don't matter. Okay? Now, when I went no contact, I think my family knows that I believe in what I believe in. And I'm not going to change unless you've got some significant evidence for me or you've got a significant reason. I'm open to change, but you better have a good fucking argument. Okay? My family just kind of walked away from me. A cousin who I'd been in contact with just kind of walked away from me, okay? Now, I did feel a little bit of discomfort behind that. You could even say up to a little bit of pain about that. But when I think back to the fact that it's so obvious that my mom is a kook, it's so obvious that she's got something going on. She ain't the worst person in the world. I would never say as much. She does have positive features, but she's a kook. And selfish and self-centered and a narcissist and probably borderline and all that other shit. I'll let some psychiatrists or psychologists deal with that. I just know what I experienced, right? But it was obvious she was a kook and they saw she was a kook. So rather than intervening and saying, hey, auntie, hey, sis, you're a kook, they just let it keep going. And they talk shit behind her back. The problem being she had children. I being one of them. Okay, when you see an adult isn't right, you step in and ask about the children. You see about the children. You help the fucking children because according to this whole thing, family is, blood is thicker than water and we're here and we're together and the only thing that you can count on is family. I couldn't count on family to intervene in my mom's kookiness. So I damn sure am not going to sit here and explain myself to them. As a grown human being, making a decision, hopping that wall to get away from the fucking tiger. So much of what we do in life and in society is based on the fear of what people will think. You have to free yourself of that. You cannot care what people think, or else you're going to be stuck in the mud. You're going to be stuck in cement fucking 3 feet high. Wet cement, slowly drying. Every year it's going to dry. The more you try to do what people want you to do just for the sake of their comfort, the more you will find yourself in a stationary position. A lack of movement, a lack of mental, psychological, probably financial, probably social growth, because you're so worried about what people say. But those are the same people who stood there with their hands in their pockets while you were being harmed. So going back to my initial point, the only answer you give is no answer, okay? And if people do inquire about it, guess what I do? And this might even sound fucked up, I lie. I avoid the issue because I can sense who's going to try to give me pushback and give me that stupid, but it's your mom. And it's your mom, and you should know your mom. And you should, be around your mom because she gave you life. Oh, really? Birth, is that important? Because the dogs do it all the fucking time. Dogs have litters of puppies all the time. Slugs have legs. Fish legs. Okay? Possums give birth. What's your fucking point? We gotta stop acting as though like life is a miracle, in the sense that it's been replicated so much in so many different species. Oh, it's a miracle. Oh, it's a consequence. Just like throwing a ball in the air. As sure as you're born, it's going to come right back down. It's a consequence of an act. It isn't miraculous. Okay? It can be beautiful in the right context, but it's not miraculous. It's not fucking something we don't understand. We know what happens. The sperm meets the egg and the zygote is produced. Okay? That's what happens. That's literally what happens. We can watch it under a fucking microscope. It isn't majestic. Don't let yourself be taken in by these people who try to make it more than that. Now, if you meet someone and you fall in love with them and you produce a child, or you adopt a child, or whatever the situation is, and you're good to that child, that's the miracle. That's the miraculous thing, because the human being is intrinsically selfish. So if you can push through that and be the selfless individual you need to be to properly bring up a child and care for their needs and their psychological development, that's the only miracle I recognize. When people want to ask me, hey, do you talk to your mom? Sure, absolutely. How's your mom doing? Great. You know why? I don't waste my time. I'm not wasting my time in explaining it to you because it's an insult to myself. It's an insult to the child that I was, who was going through this bullshit, for me to go through that, and then I got to turn around and explain it to you like you're the judge, jury, and executioner. Like you get to decide about the validity of my choice. You don't have to explain shit to anybody. It's your life. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Never forget that.